Each minute detail of the F-117 was carefully thought through to minimize radar reflection. Because engine fan blades are easy to detect, the Nighthawk's engines are buried deep in its fuselage. Its air intakes are covered by a special grille that minimizes the reflection of radar energy. Another common cause of strong radar reflections is the cockpit. On ordinary aircraft, the radar travels through the plexiglass canopy and reflects off the many objects inside the cockpit. On the F-117, the canopy is coated with a special metallic material to prevent the radar from entering the cockpit. An additional source of strong radar reflection is the wing-mounted missile pylon. So on the Nighthawk, the missiles are carried inside the aircraft in a special bomb bay in its belly. Even ordinary straight panel lines can reflect radar energy. To minimize these reflections, the majority of the aircraft is covered with special RAM. Where panel lines remain, such as here around the night sensor on the nose, the panels have a sawtooth edge to better scatter the radar energy. Although the F-117 is classified as a fighter, it was designed primarily for ground attack missions. Most strike fighters use radar to locate their targets, but the use of radar gives off an electronic signal that can be detected by an enemy force. The Nighthawk, therefore, uses a thermal imaging night sensor. The thermal sight picks up the temperature difference between objects on the ground and provides the pilot with a ghostly video image of the Earth below him. Ground attack missions have always been the most perilous aerial assignments. The Nighthawk was developed specifically for these missions. Its specialty is the most challenging: night attack. It is designed to sneak into enemy airspace undetected and attack pinpoint targets with laser-guided bombs and precision-guided missiles. The F-117 Nighthawk was initially flown by an elite group of pilots of the 37th Tactical Fighter Wing. These pilots were handpicked, not just because of the secrecy of the program, but due to the demanding nature of night attack flying. Presently, the Nighthawk is flown by the 49th Fighter Wing at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. The unique design of the Nighthawk provides exceptional combat capabilities. The single-seat, dual-engine aircraft has quadruple redundant fly-by-wire flight controls and is air refuelable, able to support U.S. missions around the world. Until the F-117 was publicly unveiled in 1988, the Black Jet was kept under a strict veil of secrecy. The aircraft were flown only at night to prevent spy satellites from viewing their unique shape. The radical design of the Nighthawk would suggest that it is very different to pilot compared to conventional fighters. However, in spite of its surprising configuration, it flies very much like other fighter aircraft. No matter how technologically advanced an aircraft is, they are never invulnerable. The first combat loss of an F-117 occurred on March 27, 1999, during the war in Kosovo. Using old Russian long-wave radars, Yugoslav air defenses were able to track F-117s, particularly when their stealthiness was weakened by excessive moisture or when their bomb bay doors were open. Since the F-117 carries bombs rather than missiles, it seems strange that it is referred to as a stealth fighter. The designation of the Nighthawk as a fighter rather than a bomber is reported to have been done in an attempt to misdirect foreign espionage. The F-117 Nighthawk first saw combat in 1989 during Operation Just Cause in Panama. It has since flown missions in Kosovo and has been deployed in the Middle East in support of Operation Desert Storm and Iraqi freedom. Anticipating the need to incorporate stealth technology into future fighter aircraft, in the 1980s, the U.S. Air Force began the selection process for an advanced tactical fighter, narrowing the selection to 2 planes, the YF-22 and YF-23. A central factor in a plane's stealthiness is its shape. Whether angular in form as in the Nighthawk, or a smooth, sleek design as seen here on the YF-23 Black Widow II. These exotic shapes do not significantly impact bomber design, since there is not as great a need for speed or maneuverability. But fighters still require both speed and maneuverability, even in the missile age. Unfortunately, incorporating stealth features in fighters dictates sacrifices in their performance. In 1990, the YF-23, despite having a stealthier design, lost out to the YF-22. Renamed the FA-22 Raptor, it was chosen because it was easier to maintain, had greater flexibility for future development, and was cheaper to produce at approximately $150 million per plane. The main attraction of stealth fighters is that, in theory, it should be nearly impossible for the enemy to target. This gives a fighter with stealth characteristics the ability to fire many of its long-range radar-guided missiles well before the enemy fighters can even detect its presence. Stealth technology is not a magic potion that makes a plane invisible, but through careful design and combined technologies, the optimum mix of performance and stealthiness can be achieved. The Raptor has the most stealth features of any new fighter aircraft. The Raptor carries its AIM-120C AMRAAM missiles internally to preserve its stealthiness. Missiles are launched through hydraulic arms that deploy the AMRAAM so quickly that the weapons bay doors are open for less than 1 second per launch. The Raptor can fly supersonically in super cruise mode, reducing fuel consumption and avoiding the high heat signature associated with the use of afterburners. The first FA-22A Raptor was delivered to the U.S. Air Force in January 2003 and entered service in 2004. The Raptor is intended to replace the F-15 Eagle, an aircraft with an undefeated 104-0 combat record. The U.S. Air Force expects the Raptor to continue this impressive record well into the future. The low observability designed into the B-1B bomber made it far less visible to radar than older bombers.